Welcome back to Instant Experts. All the latest news explained by idiots. A laugh at the world's crooks, fuckwits and morons to keep you sane in a crazy world. Brought to you by me, Henry Lee, and my good friend the Honk. Honky, welcome.
Henry, what a pleasure to be with you. How are you?
Extremely well. Great to be back. It's been a week.
It has been a week.
What's your highlight?
My highlight is discovering the new listener we have, which is a celebrity.
That?
We have a celebrity, the Matildas, the Australian women's soccer captain, Sam Kerr.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does she like it?
Well, she called the show stupid and white. I mean, that's no higher praise, is there?
That's fair. I think
It's fair.
that's very fair.
We were so honoured that she listened and she got the show straight away.
She did. It's two middle-aged white guys expressing opinions on things they know nothing about. So thank you, Sam.
Thank you.
All right. Now, what's on the show? Trump's war on Australia.
Yes.
Trump's war on Canada.
Yes.
Trump's war on America.
Yes.
Americans fighting back.
God bless you.
And in sports news, the latest in Japanese wrestling.
I'm not sure. We'll see if we get to that. Let's see if we get
more
there.
Sam Kerr.
More Sam Kerr, yeah.
And shock news that an Aussie bank is making a boatload of money.
I cannot believe that.
But we need to start with an apology, which is becoming traditional.
Yes. What have we done now?
This show is known for factual errors. It wouldn't be called Instant Experts without if it involved rigour or research.
No, that's true.
And 2 weeks ago on our Greenland episode, we accused the playwright Henrik Ibsen of being Danish.
And boring.
And we can report that he was boring.
Yes.
But he's not Danish. He's, in fact, Norwegian.
Yes, we were mouthing off so hard we didn't know that we were in the wrong country.
So we've managed to offend both countries.
But we owe another apology, don't we? Because we have to apologise to the truly most boring Danish writer, who is Danish, who is Søren Kierkegaard.
He's been their most boring writer for some 170 years.
He is. And we're thinking in particular of one of your and my favourite books, which is his 500-page, three-part masterwork, which translates in English. This had to have been the John Grisham thriller of its day. The Upbuilding Discourses in Various Spirits.
That sounds like a dead-set thriller. He was a philosopher, to be fair, and they're known for, boring books. But that's
true.
500 pages of boring.
But it's a little-known fact that, Denmark was centuries ahead of many other countries all over the world in performing surgery. And this is before anaesthetic. And that's how they did it. They used to give people part one. Of upbuilding discourses in various spirits.
Part one if it's routine, part two if it's serious, and part three if it's lights out.
Like circumcision or something. Circumcision, you get the third part.
Well, to be fair to Kierkegaard, he is the father of existentialism. So apologies also to any existentialists out there. Hope you feel better soon.
Well, it seems unlikely, doesn't it? It does seem unlikely.
Next segment won't help because we're talking about Trump madness. It wasn't supposed to be a podcast about Trump, but it is a podcast, as we said, about the world's crooks, fuckwits and morons. And the Trump administration is the world capital right now. Trump manages to mix the insane with the banal in a way that few have before him. And on that topic, a big shout out to our growing number of listeners in the US and Canada, who, as far as we can tell, are holed up in a bunker waiting for 2029.
Yes, indeed.
Honk,
probably how they had time to listen to us. Hold up.
Honky, what's Trumpy been up to this week?
Where do you start? As he said, he's declared economic war on us, on Australia. He's trying to take over Canada still, isn't he? He's trying to sell, it looks like now, as of this week, he wants to sell Ukraine to Russia. And he has his man-baby buddy Musk running rampant in the bank vaults.
That all sounds very serious. Has he done anything sort of a bit silly that we
Well, this is what I love about Trump, is this unbelievable mix of, big-ticket constitutional catastrophe and outrage, and then this tiny, petty, tiny, pathetic little bits of shit, of which this week is this magnificent example. You followed the story about him in the plastic straws?
Oh, is that when he banned paper straws out, plastic straws back in?
Yeah, so he's brought back in plastic straws. He's banning paper straws.
Right. Well, paper straws were brought in by somebody he didn't like Biden or Obama.
Or a qualified health professional.
It's a deep state conspiracy to not kill the earth.
Why? What's the...
plastic straws, I think they use millions and millions of them a year in America.
Yeah.
And they keep turning up in the ocean. And
is that the problem? Not enough of them in the ocean?
Yeah, I think all the turtles some turtles still alive.
Too many turtles, you're right. They're a plague. They're like the kangaroo of the United States. Too many turtles.
They are the kangaroo of the ocean, turtles.
They are.
And we need to get rid of them one straw at a time.
Yeah.
And he actually took time out of his busy day in the Oval Office to film a video of him signing an executive order banning plastic straws.
Yeah, and he said some wonderful things. He said they explode. That was one of his concerns. They explode.
Right. What's he doing with them? Paper straws explode.
Paper straws explode.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting. It's interesting you say that because I took the time, okay, we've apologised for some of our research areas, but every now and then we really burrow down. The detail in that executive order was fascinating because he's bringing back plastic straws, but that's not the only thing he's bringing back. He's also signed an executive order bringing back expired credit cards, razor blades and small personal mirrors for bathrooms. And he wants to do a national trial run, doesn't he? But starting in the White House bathrooms.
We know who's behind this.
Well, who is it?
It's not Don Senior. It's Don Junior.
Don Junior.
Yeah, and you know where all the plastic straws are.
Well, it's just. Yeah. I think I know where this is said. Where are they? Up Don Junior's nose, are they?
Don Junior's nose, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
We wish him well with that.
Yeah. Well, Bag's not using those ones secondhand. Now, the one that caught my eye beyond plastic straws was Trump making himself chair of the Kennedy Center.
This was a corker, wasn't it? A corker.
Nothing says egomania like putting yourself in charge of one of America's major cultural institutions.
Just tell us a bit about, just for those of us who are not the cultural mavens you are, what is the Kennedy Center? Just remind us.
Well, it's a venue. It's a major performing arts venue in New York, but and it bestows the Kennedy Center honours to 5 artists who've been deemed to make a huge contribution over their lifetime to the arts in America. So
like musician examples?
Musicians. You've got Frank Sinatra. You've got Benny Goodman, the clarinetist. You've got...
wasn't Led Zeppelin one of them?
Led Zeppelin got in there, one of our favourites. So, and then on the acting side, De Niro, Pacino, Jimmy Stewart, those types of people.
So what's the problem? Who's been left out? Who's been honoured?
Well, I'm in favour of the Kennedy Centre. I'm just a bit worried what's going to happen when Trump gets in charge.
Who does Trump think should be honoured that hasn't been honoured yet? Let's start with music. Who does he want to honour, do you reckon?
Well, the only 3 musos I can think of that Trump likes are the Village People, Kid Rock and Kanye West.
It would be good to see Kid Rock doing all his hit at the Kennedy Centre.
Yes, well, he did that horrendous version of Sweet Home Alabama.
But you were talking about his first hit. What was that?
Hit, I remember it because it was called Bar with the Bar. It was the stupidest name for a song of all time. Bar with the Bar, da bang, diggy, diggy, said the boogie, said up, drop the boogie, bar with the bar, da bang, diggy, diggy, said the boogie, up, drop the boogie. And that's the chorus.
Yeah.
And it repeats that probably 6 times, and then the end says, my name is Kid Rock.
Yeah.
Stay in school, kids.
Can't wait to hear that one.
So Village People I have no objection to. Kid Rock, not a fan. And Kanye, I just can't stand. He played the worst show I've ever seen at the Opera House many years ago.
And this was this when he was crazy, or was this before he was?
This was when he was supposed to be normal and a big star.
But he's got, there is some logic to having Kanye perform at the Kennedy Center because he's got a new album coming out. Yeah. You were telling me about this triple live new album he's got.
I assume it's called Please Pay Attention to Me.
That's the one. And it's got some hits on there already. Some of these singles have been released to all over the internet and they're doing really well. I mean, you think of his recent hits. Slavery Was a Choice. I love that one. What else he got? Nazis. Yeah.
Nazis are people too.
Nazis are people too. Yeah. Another corker.
Yeah. Let me guess. And then on the movie side, so bad things at Kennedy Center on the music side, and the movie side, I can only imagine the horror, because if I think about Trump and movies...
Yeah, there's a particular type of movie you imagine he wants to see the cast honoured.
Yeah, this is a guy who slept with Stormy Daniels.
She has declined the Kennedy Center honour for a second time.
She might wait till the next administration, I would have thought.
I think she would think, but some others... Surely got to get called up, right?
Well, Linda Lovelace, the OG.
Surely. Wendy Whoppers. Misty Dawn.
Misty Dawn.
Who else?
It must be somebody called Misty Peaks.
Misty Peaks. Tawny Peaks.
Tawny Peaks. Tawny Dawn.
Tawny Dawn. And then you get into Trump's favourite... a lot of people think Trump's this, Luddite, but in fact he's
he's got a sort of thing for Eastern Europeans.
Well, he's a great appreciator of Eastern European cinema.
Yeah. Melania, Ivana.
Yeah, and then, these movie stars from Eastern Europe. Ivana Fuckalod. Ivana Benderova. These people need to be recognised for their contribution.
Oh, the horror.
As bad as you think Trump is, they've kept him calmer than he could have been.
Oh, dear God, the horror. Anyway, he's in charge of the Kennedy Center, so if you're a proper artist, look away now. But look, beyond the trivialities of plastic straws and Kennedy Center honours going to porn stars, the real story is Musk and Trump running off with the country.
That is the real story. It's true.
It's hard to keep up. They've blown up USAID, which is the aid agency of America to the world, so, feeding starving kids, etc. They're canning every investigation of Trump's cronies and firing the lawyers involved.
Yes.
And in fact, somebody just resigned today who had been investigating the crook who runs New York, Eric Adams.
Yes.
And then they've got Musk, a guy whose main diet is ketamine, running around with a bunch of 23-year-old video game enthusiasts and hackers, pretending they know something about government.
It's pretty. And their main focus is trying to get, isn't their main thing is trying to get federal workers to quit, right?
Yeah. Although that shouldn't be too hard. I mean,
well, I was going to say, how are they having any trouble?
Could you imagine working for Trump and Musk? I mean, Musk is the guy who wants everybody at his workplace to work 100 hours a week just to make him get richer. I mean, what he doesn't appreciate is he owns the company, they don't.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And also, he doesn't like his kids or hasn't met them.
Yeah.
And most of the rest of us do.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, it is impossible to do what he wants people to do, which is work 100 hours a week and also raise a family and stay married, as both he and Trump have demonstrated.
Have discovered.
Multiple times.
Although there was footage of Musk in the Oval Office. I think was it the plastic straws order, or was it a different one? A different one.
Maybe a different one.
I did see some footage of him in there with a kid.
With a kid, yeah.
Yeah, was that his?
Well,
does he know?
I don't know. It's possible. You said to me, didn't you?
Maybe it was the video was them meeting for the first time.
I think that's maybe what it was. Because I think the kid looked at Donald Trump and went, "Oh, Papa, oh, Senor Papa."
Another episode of Who's the Father?
Yeah.
But look, the economic plan makes no sense that I can work out. They're cutting spending, which kind of does make sense if you've got a deficit in the US.
But don't you need some money coming in?
But they're also planning to cut taxes. So they're cutting revenue at the same rate they're cutting expenditure.
What are they doing?
And going to keep borrowing at the same rate they have before. They want to raise the debt ceiling in America. So as far as I'm concerned, they're sacking people, cutting income and corporate taxes, borrowing money and paying themselves.
Yeah.
It's like a giant Ponzi scheme.
Well, it's like the plot. It's like a real life plot of the producers, right? They're just sort of selling everyone. They're sort of running themselves broke. What are they going to declare the country bankrupt and then sell it off or something? What are they going to do?
Yeah, I guess so. On the upside, maybe that's when they get taken over by Canada.
Yeah, that's the long game.
Yeah,
long game.
Hang in there, Canucks. You might win in the end. But it goes to thinking, there have been a couple of comments about that. You can't. Trump and Musk both have what's called main character energy.
They do.
Number one rule of any drama is you can't have two heroes, and so this is inevitably going to go wrong.
Certainly, Musk looks like he's forgetting the golden rule of Trump's world, which is the only person that matters is Donald Trump, right?
Correct, and Trump has burned anyone who's ever worked with him, plus most of those who've married him.
Yeah.
So Musk will inevitably be next. So
there's going to be a breakup, you're saying? There's going to be a breakup.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen?
Well,
let's talk about the kids. Who gets the kids?
Well, Elon's deepest fear is getting custody of the kids.
What, Trump's kids?
No, his own.
Oh, his own kids. He's worried about getting his own kids. Right, okay, yeah.
Well, this guy's been voted absent father of the year.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. And then the other question I've got, though, is, you know when you have those heartbreaking, early life breakups, with some girl you're living with, and you got to divide up the books and the CDs. And that's what I call.
You've been married for 30 years.
That's what I call music volume 37. All that sort of shit.
Yeah.
The
name of the rose.
The name of the books that nobody read, like Kierkegaard and
getting to it.
So I guess so who splits who gets what department when they break up?
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying.
What does Elon get?
Treasury go to Elon. He's already in there looting it, paying himself and cutting payments to others.
FBI and Justice got to go to Trump.
Yeah, that's Trump. Won't be anything left, but he can have it.
Yeah, and then what about like the hookers and the mistresses and so forth? How does that work? That's the thorny bit, isn't it?
Yeah. That's a tough one. That might go to the Supreme Court. And to rule on.
So, like, if you're an American hooker, does that mean you go to the Department of the Interior?
Yeah, it sounds plausible.
What if you're an overseas hooker?
State Department.
Why? Because they deal with foreign affairs.
Yeah, yes.
Appropriately enough, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And if you're a mix? What if you're a mix of the two?
I assume that's Clarence Thomas.
Clarence Thomas, perfect. That's why we finally know why they got him there. The only thing I don't want to see is, these heartbreaking scenes.
Can you believe he's still alive and on the court, by the way?
Well, can you believe he was on the court in the first place?
No.
But the only thing I don't want in this Musk Trump, The only thing, won't someone please think of those who were most impacted by this, the hookers and the mistresses. Let's not have any of those heartbreaking Kramer versus Kramer scenes where they put the hookers and the mistresses on the stand and make them say who they want to live with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who they want to go with. Can we not have that? That'd be bad. Who they want to get boned by.
Be good. Well, I think there'd be a lot of NAs. Now, there has been, so it's all pretty dark stuff over there, all craziness, but there are pockets of resistance. And
we've talked about him before, and this one's even better. Last week we talked about this amazing guy who a driver on a Greyhound bus, wouldn't let the ICE immigration guys on the bus to remove illegal immigrants. When he said in the remarkable, beautiful, haunting, inspirational words, he said to them, "Gargle my balls," remember? But this week,
how could I forget?
And a guy went even better this week. Just tell him what he did.
Well, you brought this to my attention. And you claim it's a real story.
It's a true story.
A gentleman tried to break into an ICE, Immigration's Customs and Enforcement detention centre. To bust out, quote unquote, thick Latinas. Spelled
THICC, by the way, just to be clear.
So I assume that's hot mamas from south of the border.
I assume. By the way, to answer your question, it's a real story.
Yeah. And these detention centres, are they prisons or are they porn sites?
Well, interesting you say that.
Is there a category, like is there a door marked thick Latinas? What's behind the other?
I don't know how. That's a good question. How was he trying to categorise it? But it turns out it's not
Who's
just
behind the other doors.
You talked about the deep state before. It's not just a rogue actor. It never is, right? It's always part of a conspiracy. This guy is part of a sophisticated operation, it turns out, where they're trying to liberate immigrants who have been held in ICE detention, but those people just happen to have categorised them the way PornHub does, by coincidence. So you've got other activists out there we've heard about. Someone flipped us a list. They're trying to liberate? They're trying to liberate naughty Dutch housewives. What else? Who are they trying to?
French stepmothers.
Yeah, horny French stepmoms.
Yeah.
Lonely Czech substitute teachers. I think they're trying to remove.
There must be some sorority sisters who ordered a pizza and have no way to pay.
But what are the authorities doing? Like, how are they going to have to tighten security if this is going to keep happening, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, the Republicans involved, so I'm deeply suspicious. I think they'll be locking down certain areas of particular interest.
Yeah, like what?
The lonely Honduran pool boys.
Yeah, the Republican senators will be locking down the lonely Honduran pool boys, and also maybe the Mexican cowboys a long way from home on a cold night. And maybe the MILFs. The BBWs and the BBCs. I reckon the Republican senators are very concerned about the BBC. BBC's not getting busted out.
Anyway.
What a hero. Thinking of those thick Latinas.
He knows what he stands for. He knows what he believes in.
Yeah.
And what's happened to him? Has he been locked up as well? And if so, who with?
Good question. We need to look into it. We need to find out where he's gone.
Yeah. Is he more satisfied or less satisfied than he was a week ago?
Unclear. Yeah.
All right. Enough of Trump madness in America. Let's talk about Trump madness in Australia. We've been very nice to the US for a long time. We've supported them in every war, including the stupid ones.
Seen all their shit movies,
of which there have been many.
Yes.
And now Trumpy has gone and attacked us with tariffs.
Yeah.
He's trying to whack 25% tariffs on steel and aluminium. What's up with that?
What the fuck happened? You tell what happened.
We're supposed to be friends.
But I mean, why did they do? I don't understand. First of all, let me ask you this question because I know nothing about. I know nothing about anything. This is why I co-host the show. But if I really knew nothing about anything, it would be particularly about the economy and about commerce.
Yeah.
Why does this not work?
Well, it doesn't work because the demand for aluminium and steel hasn't changed. It still costs the same amount to produce here. They're not making it in America, which is why they're getting it from here. So they haven't gotten it. You haven't got any supply. So they've got to buy it from somebody.
Right.
And now it's just going to cost 25% more. It's going to cost Americans 25% more.
But didn't other countries try this with our shit before? Trying to impose tariffs on us?
China had a go at us 4 or 5 years ago. They didn't like someone. I think ScoMo asked about COVID, the origins of COVID.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that didn't go down very well.
So what did China do?
Because it was a fair question.
And, of course.
And so China put tariffs on, amongst other things, red wine, coal, and barley.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, a suspicious amount of barley started going to Mexico, not noted for importing barley previously.
Yeah.
Coal started going to Korea. And red wine, surprisingly enough, went to Vietnam.
And what are you saying? This was just a backdoor way of getting it to...
Yeah, they're just selling it to some guy who's in each of those countries who immediately sells it to China.
So they're just avoiding the tariffs.
The same stuff, exactly, without the tariff. Or if there's an export ban entirely, then just selling it on at an inflated price and pretending it's not from us.
There's another solution, by the way.
What's that?
Which is that we just keep all this aluminium for ourselves and just use it all in Australia.
Yeah.
Just Australian school kids, just get ready to have your crappy tuna sandwiches wrapped 7,000 times. You may need a second school backpack, but surely worth it to teach America a lesson.
At least they'll stay cool during the day. It'll be funny when Don Jr.'s Coke shipments start arriving in cut price Aussie alfoil because there are no tariffs in Mexico as far as I can tell.
Yeah, and you'll be so shocked you'll spit several hundred plastic straws out of his nose.
Get them out. Now, there was some good news in the call between Trump and Albo. They did reach agreement on one issue.
Another tariff issue?
Yeah.
So what is that?
100% tariff on Kevin Rudd.
So Kevin Rudd, just for those who don't know, is the former Australian Prime Minister and now the much loathed on both sides Australian ambassador to the United States. So they've cut a deal on him. Have they 100% tariff?
The only people who like him less than the Liberal Party, the Labor Party.
Yeah.
And yes, there's a 100% tariff on Kevin Rudd, so he's not allowed to be exported by Australia to America, so he can't be ambassador anymore.
Right. What a tragedy. What a terrible tragedy.
So I think he might be headed to China.
Yeah, or possibly North Korea. Gaza. Iran, Somalia, Togo.
No man better for the job. Before we get to sport, we're close to time, but we're just quick business news. Just pleased to report that Commonwealth Bank announced its half-year results this week. Made $5.3 billion in 6 months.
So all the people whinging about, cost of living, doing it tough, it just goes to show if you want it, you can do it. You can make it happen.
That's right.
$5.3 billion in 6 months.
Yeah, so I'd just like to acknowledge CBA, the traditional owners of my pay packet.
That's very good of you. It's very moving of you.
Now, sport, we did discuss Sam Kerr. She was a naughty girl, said some things she shouldn't have to a cop while drunk off her ass in London. Went to court.
Called him stupid and white.
She went to court, beat the rap, and now there's been a lot of interest in her post verdict.
Well, there's been this talk now that should she step down should she cease to be allowed to continue as the women's captain for Australia, and the answer is it doesn't seem to matter because there's a lot of interest in her. That may be a scandal in women's soccer, but in Australian sport, that's a
yes. Well, in particular, I'm hearing there's a lot of interest from the NRL.
Yeah, what clubs would want Sam Kerr? All of them, surely.
Yeah, I mean, what are the clubs with fantastic records of bad boys over the years?
Broncos.
And Broncos have been there.
Who else? Roosters.
They cover it well at the Roosters, though.
Yeah. You haven't had someone just like a real Todd Carney, urinating into his own mouth, So there's a lot of future for her if it doesn't work out.
Yeah, she's got a bright future. So,
she does.
Sam,
so either way, she's set.
Good to have you back, but that was a little bit of a loose shot. All right, just quickly, and I know you don't want to talk about it.
It's very emotional.
But we need to talk about your holiday, and you did, for real, you claim, go to Japan to watch pro wrestling.
First of all, this is not a holiday. How many fucking times I was covering this for Instant Experts, I really resent the suggestion it was just a holiday.
Well, if you're covering it for Instant Experts, then you need to file a report, which you have not done.
Okay, well, I'll do it now. So, yes, I don't know what you find so funny about this. There's nothing funny about going to Japanese pro wrestling. It's perfectly normal. Doesn't everyone go to Japanese pro? Doesn't everybody go with one of their kids to Wrestle Kingdom, the WrestleMania of Japan, and get the commemorative chairs? We got commemorative chairs with Japanese wrestlers all over them.
Like who?
All of them.
Who are some of the stars over there?
The Stone Pitbull. His name is Ishii, the Stone Pitbull.
Right.
There's a guy called Dookie. He's pretty funny.
Is there a sort of a Hulk Hogan type?
Yeah, Okada. Although
yeah.
Okada's broken everyone's heart, he's gone to America.
Right, okay. To WWE?
He's gone to AEW.
Oh, okay.
But there's some great guys. There's Tiger Mask.
Yeah,
who's been around for about... A different wrestler has played Tiger Mask for about 50 years, and it's some wrestler who never takes the Tiger Mask off. Some of these guys have been buried in the Tiger Mask. And Tiger Mask is such a superstar in Japan, he recorded a version of Elvis's I Can't Help Falling in Love With You. It was a #1 hit, huge smash hit.
Right. Sort of the Masked Singer meets WWE.
Meets
that. Japan.
Yeah, something like that. And, look, I don't know.
And you claim this is a real sport. This is not sumo. This is men in tights jumping off the turnbuckle.
This is, although I will say there were a few cultural faux pas, like that, a few cultural faux pas, because there's a big star called Takeshita, not as I discovered the hard way when I tried to talk about him with every Japanese person I met. I thought his name was Takeshita. And I literally thought that was his name. Turns out his name is Takeshita. That wasn't good. I saw Dookie break his arm in half. Coming off the top rope, but beyond the Tiger Mask singing Elvis songs and commemorative chairs and Dookie and Takeshita, I don't see what's strange about Japanese pro wrestling.
Of all the sports in all the world, you've followed none of the mainstream ones.
Yeah,
but you're hardcore in Japanese wrestling.
There was a champion in one of the Japanese federations for a couple of years once who was actually a sex doll.
No, you're just making it up.
I'm not. I swear to God.
I don't believe you.
True.
Well, that's gone off track even for us, so we might leave it there for another week. If you like the show, please share, like, and subscribe. We might as well have some fun together before Musk, Trump, and Putin take over the world.
It's so sweet the way you think that's going to happen. Not has happened.
Yes. Well, See you next week.
See you next week.